This country is home to so many unique food artisans, men and women who every day brew, grow, roast, and raise the ingredients that are the building blocks of our culinary culture. I'm Edward Krause. I've been fortunate enough to work with some great people over the past 10 years. And today, we're gonna visit Teresa and Rustin of Bowles Bay Saltworks on the South Carolina coast. So what's the process from here once we've got kind of a tank of water in the back of the truck?
From this point, we'll pump the water out of our tanks into the side tanks, let it settle. Okay. And from that point, I'll pump it out. Once I have an empty tank like this one, I'll power wash it and it's ready again. Temperature will start rising, so it's 100 degrees in there, 120 degrees in there right now probably.
You guys are harvesting several different types of salt from this process.
Correct.
Okay.
Right.
How do you differentiate the two, or?
Well, it's a matter of timing. Okay. So all the salts come out in solution differently. Okay. The one that I just harvested is the first salt that you'll find. It's an edible salt. The next salt to come out is edible salt. By weight, it makes up like 95% of the salt. Wow. And once that starts to form, we wait for it to get to a certain point where all of these crystals are ready to be harvested. Flake salt forms differently, so this water temperature in here will get really warm. Okay. By 2 or 3 o'clock, it'll be 145 degrees in some of these tubs. And then the sun starts to go down and we have rapid cooling. Then we have a bloom on top when they're making salt of flake. So the flake forms really fast as the water temperature goes down.
And then how do you get the rock salt? So you've got the flake on the surface that you harvest at night, and then the rock salt on the bottom?
The rocks will start off life as a flake. If we don't harvest it, it'll start forming a perfect cube. Okay. And it'll still float, and then something will disturb. We open the door, a little bit of wind comes in, and it disturbs the surface, and they'll sink
to the bottom. So now that the salt is formed, what's the next process? I mean, how do you know when it's time to harvest?
Well, I know it's time to harvest because the bitter salts have all kind of collected. Okay. We're not getting that much more NaCl, sodium chloride, out of solution. So at this point, we're wasting the space. We need to harvest that salt and put fresh water in. So at this point, we're set up to get this processed a little bit more. We do a little bit of washing, and then we set it up to dry. Okay. It's as simple as putting up on its side right here. Let the water drain, and then from this point I'll ask Teresa, what are we going to do with it? And she'll say, take it to the smokers or bring it inside to finish drying and packaging.
This is crazy. So this is literally where packaging happens, where shipping happens. Yeah. You guys do everything out of this space.
That's right, yeah, our whole production office.
Unreal.
Yeah. Typically the salt comes in, Rustin will set it around here on the counter so that we know it's fresh salt coming in. Okay.
How did you guys get involved initially? You know, was it just a passion?
Probably the best way to get to know our neighbors and the community would be to have a pig roast. So Rustin wanted to brine the hog, bought apple cider vinegar, and he thought, well, I'm gonna make salt to do this. So what he did was he took some water, put it on the stove, cooked it down until it was salt. And eventually the bowl of salt made its way closer and closer, so then it was on the smoker. And the salt smoked. Rustin took the salt and he put it on the table with the spread, and we saw people getting spoonfuls of it. Folks started asking us if they could take some home, if they could get more. And so we thought, well, maybe this is something we should do and sell alongside the vegetables. Okay. So that's how it happened. The purpose behind the flake salt is as a finishing salt, you want to be able to grab it with your fingers, pinch it and sprinkle it over your food like this, being able to pulverize it with your fingers. It's really good just as a replacement for your table salt. This is actually sort of the leftover from the flake salt. This is basically it's a koshering salt, but we sell it as a margarita salt. The koshering salt is nice because it's just so powdery fine that it will get absorbed into your meal really fast.
Okay.
The bourbon barrel smoked flake here, we actually use bourbon barrels that we cut up and we put them in the smoker and smoke the salt with them. I think you saw that outside,
Oh,
right?
yeah, from the Bitter Milk crew.
Yeah. The oak smoked sea salt here, it's completely different flavor. It's a little bit more bold, has more of a meaty taste to it. I think that probably the most important thing in any food item is the ingredients. And we really have one ingredient, and it's the seawater. Give this to you to take home. Give me well, I'll carry it the rest of the car if you want.
So with salt in hand, we said farewell and headed to Charleston to begin preparing what was sure to be a memorable meal.